The 9 alchemical laws of sacred profit. Heal money, guilt, and thrive. The inner conflict between spirit and commerce. Do you feel it? That quiet yet persistent tension in your heart, whenever the sacred and the commercial must meet. You, who can speak of universal laws, who can guide others through their deepest shadows, who can create art that touches the soul. You hesitate. You feel a pang of guilt, perhaps even shame, when the moment comes to place a price on your gifts. This hidden pain, this invisible wound, may be the single greatest block standing between you and the abundant life you are truly meant to live. And what you're feeling is not a personal failure, it is a collective scar, an inherited belief that has been passed down through generations, the belief that spirituality must be synonymous with poverty, that to be pure, one must be poor, that to serve God, you must renounce the world. Today we embark on a journey of alchemy, not the alchemy of turning lead into gold in a furnace, but the far more profound alchemy of transmuting a limiting belief into an empowering truth. We will not be learning hacks or tricks to make more money. No, we will be performing inner work to heal the very rift that makes money feel separate from your spirit in the first place. Over the course of this guide, we will explore 9 alchemical laws that will fundamentally reframe your reality. We will dissolve the illusion of the soul-commerce divide and awaken you to a profound understanding. Profit, when aligned with purpose, is not greed. It is one of the most sacred forms of energy exchange. It is gratitude made tangible. This is your invitation to step out of the shadows of scarcity and into the light of your own worth. It is time to build a life where your income is a natural, joyous expression of your divine contribution to the world. A life where commerce is a soulful exchange, not a burden. So take a deep breath, settle into this moment. Give yourself permission to receive this transmission. The transformation begins now. Chapter 1. The Anatomy of Money. Guilt. Let us begin by honoring the feeling that brought you here. This guilt, this shame, it's real, it has weight. And before we can transmute it, we must first understand it. We must look it in the eye without judgment. Where does it come from? This pervasive sense that wanting money, especially for spiritual work, is somehow wrong. It's not a single source, but a confluence of powerful streams that have carved deep canyons in our collective consciousness. The first stream is historical and religious programming. For centuries, across many traditions, poverty has been romanticized and equated with piety. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Phrases like these, regardless of their original context, have been etched into our cultural DNA. They create a subconscious equation. Money equals bad. God equals good. Therefore, money cannot be godly. This programming runs so deep that we often don't even recognize it as a program. It feels like an intuitive truth, but a feeling is not always a fact, especially when it is an inherited one. I remember working with a client, a wonderfully gifted energy healer. She could create profound shifts for people, yet she was constantly struggling, barely able to pay her rent. We did the practical work, pricing, marketing, but nothing changed. The resistance was too strong. One day in our session, she broke down. She confessed that every time she sent an invoice, she heard her grandmother's voice in her head, a deeply religious woman saying, "A gift from God is not for sale." And there it was, the ancestral knot. Her conscious mind wanted to thrive, but her subconscious was terrified of betraying her lineage, of being cast out from the tribe for violating its most sacred rule. Her work wasn't just to heal others. Her journey required her to heal her own lineage's relationship with value. And it started by recognizing the voice wasn't hers. The second stream is the social narrative. We are bombarded with stories of greedy corporations, corrupt billionaires, and the soulless pursuit of profit. The villain in almost every story is the one obsessed with money. We associate wealth with exploitation, materialism, and a loss of heart. So when we desire wealth, a part of us recoils in fear. The fear is not just about money. It's a fear of becoming that person, the person who loses their soul. This creates a devastating inner conflict. You want financial freedom, the ability to travel, to provide for your family, to expand your work without constraint. But your subconscious mind, in its attempt to protect your spiritual identity, sabotages any real financial progress because it believes that to succeed financially is to fail spiritually. It's a built-in self-destruct mechanism designed to keep you pure. And the third stream, perhaps the most personal, is the wound of self-worth. This is the bedrock upon which the other two are built. If, on a fundamental level, you do not believe you are worthy of receiving, then no amount of strategy or spiritual understanding will create lasting abundance. You will always find a way to give it away, to block it, or to prove that you don't deserve it. This lack of worthiness often disguises itself as humility. "Oh, I don't need much. I'm just happy to help." The work is its own reward. While these statements can be true, they can also be beautiful, spiritual-sounding excuses that mask a deep-seated fear of claiming your value. Asking for money forces you to confront this worthiness wound directly. It requires you to stand in the world and declare, "What I offer has value. I have value." And this is the number that represents that value in this exchange. For someone with a worthiness wound, this act can feel as terrifying as standing naked in a crowded room. The guilt is simply the surface-level emotion that covers the deeper terror of potential rejection. The fear that someone will look at your price and, by extension, look at you and say, "You're not worth that." So you see, this guilt is not a simple thing. It is a complex tapestry woven from ancient religious threads, modern social narratives, and your own personal history. It is a protective mechanism. It is a loyal soldier standing guard, trying to protect you from what it perceives as a threat to your soul and your safety. Our work is not to fight this soldier. Our work is to walk up to it, to thank it for its service, and to gently inform it that the war it has been fighting is over. We do this not with force, but with a deeper understanding, a new perspective. And that is where our journey truly begins. The first step is acknowledging the depth of the programming. The next is to begin, consciously and deliberately, to write a new code. Chapter 2. The Soul Commerce Rift. Why your purpose feels separate. From profit, The feeling of separation between your soul's purpose and the act of commerce is perhaps the most painful symptom of the money guilt we just explored. It's what I call the soul-commerce rift. It's the sensation that when you are doing your sacred work, whether that's coaching, healing, creating art, teaching, you are in a high vibrational, holy space. But the moment you have to discuss payment, send an invoice, or manage the books, you feel as though you have been thrown out of the temple and into the grimy, profane marketplace. This rift creates a jarring, energetic whiplash. It forces you to live a double life, the spiritual you, who operates from the heart, and the business you, who has to deal with the uncomfortable reality of money. This constant switching of energies is exhausting, and it is the primary reason why so many spiritual entrepreneurs burn out. They are trying to hold two contradictory realities in their mind at the same time. Let's dissect this illusion. Why does this rift feel so real? First, it's because we have been conditioned to see them as separate energies. Spirit, we are told, is about giving, surrender, and release. Commerce, on the other hand, is about getting, negotiating, and acquiring. One feels expansive, the other contractive. One feels like an act of love, the other like an act of strategy. We see them as oil and water, fundamentally incapable of mixing. So we compartmentalize. We have our spiritual practice in the morning and our business operations in the afternoon, and we pray they never have to interact. But this is a profound misunderstanding of how energy works. The universe does not compartmentalize. There is no corner of reality that is non-spiritual. The energy that flows through a heartfelt prayer is the same fundamental energy that flows through a financial transaction. The only thing that changes is the intention and the consciousness we bring to it. The rift is not in the world, it is in our perception. Think of it this way: water can exist as ice, as liquid, or as steam. It is all H2O. Its form changes, but its essence does not. Money is simply one form that the universal energy of value takes. It is not separate from the energy of love, or healing, or creativity. It is a representation of it, a symbol that allows that energy to be exchanged and circulated in the physical world. When you perform a healing session, you are channeling life force energy. When the client pays you, they are returning that energy to you in a form that you can use to sustain your life, so you can continue to do the work. To see these as two separate, unrelated events is to miss the beautiful, elegant symmetry of the circuit. The circuit is broken only when you believe it is. I once knew a potter, a true artist. He would spend weeks on a single vase, pouring his heart and soul into the clay. He felt deeply connected to his work, but when it came to selling his pieces, he was a wreck. He'd underprice them, give them away, or hide them in his studio. He told me, "Elias, the moment I put a price tag on it, the magic is gone. It just becomes a product." I asked him to try an experiment. For 1 week, instead of seeing a price tag, I wanted him to see it as an energy exchange value. Instead of a customer, he was to see a steward who would care for this piece. We reframed the entire language. He wasn't selling a vase. He was releasing it to its next guardian. The payment wasn't profit. It was the tangible gratitude of the recipient, which would provide the clay and food for the next creation. It sounds simple, almost foolishly so, but language shapes reality. After a few weeks of this conscious practice, something shifted in him. He started charging what his art was worth, and he did so with joy, because he had healed the rift in his own mind. He finally understood that the sale wasn't the end of the magic. It was the continuation of it. It was the act that allowed the magic to be sustainable. The soul commerce rift is also widened by a misunderstanding of service. Many spiritual people believe that to be of true service, their work should be free or offered only for donation. This comes from a noble place, but it is a limited understanding of service. To truly be of service to the world, you must be in a position of overflow. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are constantly worried about your bills, stressed about your survival, and unable to invest in your own growth and well-being, the quality of your service diminishes. Your energy is compromised. Your vessel is cracked. True service is not about self-sacrifice. It is about self-sustainability so that your light can shine as brightly as possible, for as long as possible, touching as many people as possible. Charging a fair, abundant price for your work is not an act of taking. It is an act of profound self-respect. It is a declaration to the universe that you value the gift you have been given enough to properly care for the vessel, that it flows through. When you heal this rift, everything changes. Invoicing becomes a sacred ritual of gratitude. Marketing becomes a joyful act of sharing your gift. And profit becomes the beautiful physical proof that you are in a balanced, reciprocal relationship with the world you serve. You are no longer living two lives. You are living one integrated, soul-aligned, and abundant life. Chapter 3. The Alchemical Reframe. Profit as Sacred Energetic Exchange. We have explored the roots of our guilt and the painful illusion of the soul commerce rift. Now, we arrive at the heart of the alchemical work. This is the central transmutation, the philosophical pivot upon which your entire financial reality can be rebuilt. It is the shift from seeing profit as extraction to understanding it as exchange, a sacred, energetic exchange. Let us be very clear with our terms. The word profit for many is a dirty word. It conjures images of exploitation, of taking more than is fair. And in a consciousness of scarcity, that is often what it becomes. But we are not operating from that consciousness any longer. We are alchemists. We define our terms. We create our reality. From this moment forward, let us define profit with a new alchemical equation. Profit, value provided, plus gratitude received, energy expended. Let's break this down. Value provided is the sacred work itself. It is the wisdom you share, the healing you facilitate, the beauty you create. It is the tangible, positive change you bring into someone's life. This is the outflow of your energy. It is your gift to the world, and it is immense. Never underestimate the ripple effect of your work. A single coaching session can alter the course of a person's life, which in turn affects their family, their community, their world. Gratitude received is the money. This is the critical reframe. Money is not just paper or numbers on a screen. In this new consciousness, it is the physical symbol of the recipient's gratitude. When someone pays you for your work, they are not just buying a service. They are saying, "Thank you. The value you provided has impacted my life, and I wish to honor that. I want to return energy to you so that you may continue this work." When you see money through this lens, receiving it is no longer an act of taking. It is an act of graciously accepting another person's gratitude. To refuse it or to feel guilty about it is to dishonor their gratitude. It is like someone giving you a heartfelt compliment and you arguing with them about why you don't deserve it. It breaks the circuit of grace. Energy expended is the cost to you. This is not just the cost of your materials or your rent. It is the cost of your time, your years of study, your life experience, your emotional labor, your spiritual energy. It is the cost of everything it took for you to become the person who could provide that value. This must be honored, so profit in this sacred equation is the surplus energy. It is the measure of overflow. It is the universe's way of saying the value you are providing is greater than the energy it is costing you to provide it. Here is a surplus, a reserve, so that you may rest, grow, expand, and prepare to offer even greater value in the future. Sacred profit is not about hoarding. It is about circulation. It is the energy that allows you to be sustainable, to innovate, to reach more people, and to deepen your own well-being. It is the fuel for your mission. A client of mine, a brilliant tarot reader, was perpetually broke. She felt deeply that her gift was from spirit, and it was wrong to charge much for it. She charged a bare minimum, just enough to scrape by. I asked her, "What is the next evolution of your work? What is the vision you hold in your heart?" Her eyes lit up. She spoke of creating a beautiful, serene space for readings, of writing a book, of training other intuitive readers. "And why haven't you done any of this?" I asked. Her face fell. "Because I have no money. I have no time. I'm always just trying to survive." "Exactly," I said. "Your refusal to generate a sacred profit is the very thing preventing you from fulfilling the larger mission that Spirit has given you. Your poverty is not serving God, it is starving your purpose." That was the turning point. She realized that by undercharging, she was not being humble. She was being a poor steward of the gift she had been given. She was keeping it small. She began to see profit not as something for her, but as something for the work. It was the resource that would allow the work to grow and touch thousands instead of dozens. She doubled her prices, then tripled them. And a funny thing happened. She got more clients, and they were more committed, more engaged, because they valued the exchange. Within 2 years, she had opened her beautiful reading space and was outlining her book. She had made peace with profit by seeing it as the sacred fuel for her divine purpose. This reframe requires you to shift from thinking like an employee to thinking like a steward. An employee trades time for money to survive. A steward manages resources to grow a mission. You are not just a practitioner. You are the steward of a sacred gift. And your primary responsibility as a steward is to ensure the gift flourishes. That requires resources. That requires a sacred profit. So the next time you prepare an invoice or state your price, I want you to hold this new consciousness. You are not asking for money. You are initiating a sacred energy exchange. You are inviting your client or customer to express their gratitude in a tangible way, and you are graciously receiving that gratitude to fuel the continuation of your sacred work. This is not commerce. This is a holy circuit, and you are a vital part of it. Chapter 4, Money as Gratitude, the Energetic Current of Value. In the last chapter, we performed the great alchemical reframe, transforming the dense lead of profit into the radiant gold of sacred energetic exchange. Now we must deepen this understanding. We must go beyond the intellectual concept and feel it in our very cells. To do this, We must look at money itself not as a thing, but as a current, an energy. Imagine a pristine, powerful river. This river is the flow of universal value, of well-being, of abundance. It flows effortlessly, constantly, nourishing everything it touches. This river isn't made of water. It's made of gratitude. When you offer your sacred gifts to the world, when you provide true value, you're essentially digging a channel from your life to this great river. The gratitude that flows back to you in the form of money is simply the river water filling the channel you created. The problem is not the river. The river is infinite and always flowing. The problem is that we, riddled with guilt and shame, spend our lives building dams in our own channels. Every time you think, "I shouldn't charge for this," you place a heavy stone in the channel. Every time you feel unworthy of receiving, you add another. Every time you apologize for your prices, you pile on more mud and debris until the channel is so clogged that only a trickle of the great river can get through. And then you look at that trickle and believe, "This is all I am worth. This is all that is available to me." You have been blaming the river for the dam you yourself have built. Our work is not to make the river flow. It is to remove the dam, stone by painful stone. And the tool we use for this is the conscious recognition of money as gratitude. I want you to feel the energetic difference. Think of the last time you bought something. A cup of coffee, perhaps. Did it feel like a transaction? That word itself is cold, sterile. It implies a simple mechanical exchange of goods for currency. There is no heart in a transaction. It is a dead thing. Now imagine that same exchange differently. You approach the counter. You see the person who is serving you not as a worker, but as an individual who is offering their energy and time to provide you with a moment of warmth and pleasure. You look at the price, and instead of seeing it as a cost, you see it as an opportunity to express your gratitude for their service. For the farmers who grew the beans, for the roasters, for the entire chain of energy that brought this cup to your hand. You pay, and in that moment, you infuse the money with a silent blessing. Thank you. May this energy support you and allow you to continue your work. Can you feel the difference? The act is the same. The money spent is the same. But the consciousness is worlds apart. One is a dead transaction. The other is a living, breathing, sacred exchange of gratitude. The energy is completely different. This is what your clients feel. When you are riddled with guilt, you are offering them a transaction. The energy is awkward, apologetic, constricted. They can feel your discomfort, and it taints the entire experience. But when you are clear in your heart that you are simply inviting them into a sacred exchange of gratitude, the energy is clean, confident, and expansive. You are not taking their money. You are graciously receiving their thanks, allowing them the dignity and joy of honoring the value they have received. You are giving them a gift by allowing them to give one to you. I often walk through my own town, and I make a point of buying from the small local shops where the owner is present. There is a baker I know, an older man named Arthur. He doesn't just sell bread. He speaks of his sourdough starter as if it were his child. He knows the names of the farmers who mill his flour. When you buy a loaf from him, his eyes light up. And when you hand him the money, he takes it with a slight nod, a look of genuine appreciation. He isn't just taking your money. He's receiving your acknowledgement of his life's passion. The money I give him feels clean. It feels good. It is an energy I am happy to circulate, because I know it is fueling a life of purpose and craft. This is the energy you must cultivate in your own sacred business. Your prices are not arbitrary numbers. They are invitations. They are opportunities for someone to step into a reciprocal exchange of value and gratitude with you. And if the price you set makes someone uncomfortable, it is not a rejection of you. It is simply an indication that they are not in energetic alignment with that level of exchange at this time. And that is perfectly okay. Bless them and let them go. The right people, your true clients, will feel the rightness of the exchange. They will pay you not grudgingly, but joyfully, because they understand that they are not losing money, but investing energy into a transformation that is worth so much more. From now on, you are no longer in the business of transactions. You are in the sacred practice of circulating gratitude. Let that be the foundation upon which every financial interaction is built. Chapter 5. The Forgiveness Ledger. A ritual to dissolve past money. Shame. We have laid the philosophical groundwork. We have reframed our consciousness. But understanding alone is often not enough to dislodge the deeply embedded emotional charges from our past. Shame and guilt are not intellectual problems. They are energetic weights that we carry in our bodies. To release them, we must do more than think differently. We must engage in a ritual of release, and I know this can be heavy work. It's okay to feel a sense of resistance here. If this idea of digging into the past makes you uncomfortable, good. That means we're touching on a truth that needs to be healed. Stay with me. Breathe. You are safe. This ritual is called the Forgiveness Ledger. It is a simple but profoundly powerful tool for bringing old wounds into the light and finally letting them go. You will need a piece of paper, a pen, and a quiet space where you will not be disturbed for at least 30 minutes. Draw a line down the middle of the paper. On the top of the left column, write, "Debts to others, where I forgive myself." On the top of the right column, write, "Debts to self, where I forgive myself." Let's begin with the left column. This is for all the financial mistakes and missteps you have made that involved other people, the ones that haunt you with shame. This is not about forgiving others. This is about forgiving yourself. Let the memories surface without judgment. Did you borrow money from a friend and were late to pay it back, feeling the shame of it for years? Write it down. Did you make a poor business decision that cost someone else money? Write it down. Did you live beyond your means and create stress for your family? Write it down. For each entry, you will write a simple, powerful statement of release. For example, I forgive myself completely for the shame I felt when I couldn't repay my brother on time. I was doing the best I could with the knowledge and resources I had. I release this old energy now. Or, I forgive myself completely for the failed investment that lost my family's money. I acted from a place of hope, not malice. I release the burden of this guilt. It no longer serves me. Take your time with this. Be brutally honest and endlessly compassionate with yourself. You are not condoning the behavior. You are releasing the toxic charge of shame that has kept you chained to the past. Shame is a prison. Forgiveness is the key. Now we turn to the right column. For many, this is the harder of the two. Debts to self. This is where you will account for all the ways you have betrayed, abandoned, and undervalued your own being. This is where the core of your worthiness wound lives. Again, let the memories surface. Think of every time you failed to ask for a raise you deserved. Write it down. Every time you drastically undercharged for your sacred work because you were afraid. Write it down. Every time you said yes to a project that drained your soul because you didn't believe you deserved better. Write it down. Every opportunity you passed up because that quiet, nagging voice whispered that you weren't good enough. And for each of these, you will write a new statement of release and reclamation. For example, I forgive myself completely for the years I spent undercharging for my healing work. I was operating from an old program of unworthiness. I now reclaim my value and release this pattern of self-abandonment. Or I forgive myself completely for not investing in that course that my soul longed for. I was acting from a place of fear and scarcity. I now commit to honoring my own growth, and I release this pattern of self-denial. This process may bring tears. Let them flow. Tears are liquid alchemy. They are the old energy leaving your body. Do not rush this. This is some of the most important work you will ever do. I guided a client through this process once, a woman named Clara, who had carried a mountain of money shame for decades. She filled 3 entire pages. When she was done, she was exhausted, but she also felt lighter than she had in years. I suggested a final step. This ledger, I told her, is a record of a past you are no longer living in. It is an artifact from an old timeline. It has no power over you now. That evening, she took the pages to a fire-safe bowl in her backyard. She read each entry aloud one last time, and as she did, she didn't feel the sting of shame, but a deep compassion for the woman she used to be. Then she lit the pages on fire. She watched as the smoke carried the old stories, the old guilt, the old shame up into the night sky, to be transmuted by the universe. She said in that moment she felt a literal click inside her. Something had been set right. Within 3 months, her business income had tripled, not because she used a new strategy, but because she had finally released the energetic brake she'd been driving with her entire life. And as you feel the weight of that old shame begin to lift, even just a little, recognize how powerful this inner work is. If this single idea has already created a shift within you, imagine who else in your life needs to hear it. Take a moment, if you feel called, to share this audiobook. Be the catalyst for someone else's liberation. Now, when your own ledger is complete, you choose your own ritual of release. You can burn it safely, as Clara did. You can tear it into 100 tiny pieces and let the wind carry them away. You can bury it in the earth. The method does not matter. What matters is the intention. You are declaring to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer available for this story. You are closing the old ledger. You are done. You are forgiven. You are free. Chapter 6. The Mirror of Worth, reclaiming your financial self-image. Having cleared the debts of the past with the forgiveness ledger, we have created a vacuum, a sacred emptiness within. Now we must consciously choose what we fill that space with. If we are not deliberate, the old patterns of unworthiness will creep back in, like weeds in an untended garden. The most powerful way to seed this new inner landscape is to cultivate a new self-image, an image of your own inherent, unshakable worth. You see, your external financial reality is always, and without exception, a mirror of your internal self-concept. You have what I call a financial set point, much like a thermostat in a house. This set point is the level of abundance your subconscious mind believes you are worthy of. If you suddenly receive a windfall of money that is far above your set point, your subconscious will find creative ways to get rid of it. Unexpected expenses, poor decisions, lavish spending, until you are back at the temperature where you feel comfortable. Conversely, If you fall below your set point, you will hustle and strive until you get back up to that familiar level. To create lasting change, you don't chase the money. You raise the thermostat. And we raise the thermostat by consistently introducing our nervous system and our subconscious mind to a new reality, a new version of ourselves. We do this through a practice I call the mirror of worth. This is not just a visualization. It is an energetic transmission from your future self to your present self. I invite you now, if it is safe to do so, to close your eyes. If not, simply allow your gaze to soften. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the day. Take another breath, and release your doubts. One more, and arrive fully in this present moment. I want you to imagine yourself walking along a path in a beautiful, serene place. It could be a forest, a beach, a garden, a place that feels like home to your soul. The light is golden and soft. The air is calm. As you walk, you see a figure in the distance sitting on a bench waiting for you. As you draw closer, you realize this figure is you, but this is not the you of today. This is the you who has fully embodied everything we are speaking of. This is your abundant self. Look at them. Notice how they hold themselves. See the calm, peaceful confidence in their posture. There is no tension in their shoulders, no worry in their brow. They carry an aura of deep, quiet knowing, an unshakable sense of worth. Feel the energy radiating from them. It is calm, centered, expansive, and unconditionally loving. This version of you has completely healed their relationship with money. For them, abundance is as natural as breathing. They are not striving or chasing or proving. They are simply being, and in that being, all things flow to them. Now in your imagination, you go and sit next to them on the bench. There is no judgment here, only love and acceptance. This version of you is so happy to see you. They have been waiting for you. Feel what it feels like to sit in their energy field. Allow your own energy to begin to resonate with theirs, like two tuning forks finding the same frequency. You can feel the old anxieties in your own body start to dissolve in the presence of their profound peace. Now you have the opportunity to ask them one question. It might be, what is the one thing I need to know to become you? Or what belief do I need to release? Or what is my next inspired step? Ask your question and then be silent. Don't try to force an answer. Simply listen. The answer may come in words or as a feeling, a symbol or a sudden insight. Receive it without judgment. I will admit, when I first started this practice years ago, it was difficult. My own abundant self felt distant, unreal. My mind was full of chatter, but I persisted. Every day I sat on that imaginary bench, and slowly the connection grew stronger. The line between that version of me and the present me began to blur. The peace I felt in the meditation started to leak out into my waking life. My decisions began to change. I started saying no to things that were out of alignment. I began charging my true worth, not with aggression, but with a quiet calm. I was raising my thermostat. After you have received your answer in the meditation, the final and most important step is integration. Before you leave the bench, your abundant self has a gift for you. They reach out and place a hand over your heart. As they do, you feel that powerful energy of worthiness, peace, and abundance flowing directly into you. It is a transmission, a cellular upgrade. You are not just seeing it, you are becoming it. Thank your abundant self. Know that they are always there for you, waiting on that bench whenever you need to connect. And then, slowly bring your awareness back to your body, back to the room. Carry that feeling with you. That is the new set point. That is the new you that you are growing into. Practice this daily, even for 5 minutes. You are rewiring your brain. You are reprogramming your energetic field. You are no longer just looking in the mirror and seeing the old story. You are looking into the mirror of your soul and seeing the truth of who you are becoming. And your external world will have no choice but to rearrange itself to match that new, brilliant reflection. Chapter 7. The Principle of Inspired Action over Hustle with a Healed Past and a New Self-Image Taking Root. We must now address the way we work. Because for many spiritual people, the how of their work becomes another source of inner conflict. The world screams one message at us: hustle, grind, crush it. Work harder, longer, faster. Push through the pain. No days off. And so we try. We try to apply this aggressive, masculine, forceful energy to our sacred, heart-centered work. And the result is almost always the same: burnout, resentment, and a feeling of profound misalignment. It feels like trying to grow a delicate orchid with a flamethrower. The energy is simply wrong. The hustle mindset is born of scarcity and fear. It is the belief that the universe is a withholding parent, and you must scream and strive and prove your worth to get what you want. It's the belief that if you stop pushing even for a moment, everything will fall apart. It operates from the ego, from a place of control. The energy of hustle feels frantic, tight, metallic. It lives in your clenched jaw and your tense shoulders. It is exhausting because it is powered by your own limited willpower. There is another way, a more powerful, sustainable, and joyful way. It is the way of inspired action. Inspired action is born of trust and abundance. It is the understanding that you are in a co-creative partnership with the universe. Your job is not to force things to happen, but to align your energy with what wants to happen, and then take the clear, intuitive steps that appear before you. It operates from the soul, from a place of flow. The energy of inspired action feels calm, expansive, warm. It feels like a gentle, persistent nudge from within. It is energizing because it is powered by the infinite wellspring of universal intelligence. So how do we tell the difference? Hustle shouts, inspired action whispers. Hustle feels like a should. Inspired action feels like a yes. Hustle is accompanied by anxiety and a sense of urgency. Inspired action is accompanied by a sense of peace and rightness, even if it feels scary. Hustle depletes you. Inspired action fulfills you, even if it requires effort. I learned this lesson the hard way. Early in my journey, before this work was clear to me, I tried to launch a series of workshops. I was convinced it was a brilliant idea. I followed all the hustle culture advice. I worked 18-hour days. I sent thousands of emails. I relentlessly promoted it on social media. I was grinding, and my body was breaking down. I was filled with anxiety, and the result, almost complete failure. I sold a handful of tickets. I was crushed, defeated, and burned out. My ego was bruised. I had tried to force the river to bend to my will, and the river had simply flowed around me. After that, I surrendered. I stopped trying to force anything. I spent weeks just being quiet, meditating, walking in nature. And then one morning, a quiet idea dropped into my mind. Not a grand plan, just a whisper. Share the story of the forgiveness ledger. It wasn't a workshop idea. It didn't have a business plan. It just felt right. It felt calm and clear. It was inspired action. So I wrote about it. I shared it freely, without expectation. And that single piece of writing connected with people so deeply that it opened doors I could never have forced open. It led to new clients, new opportunities, and eventually to the very work I do today. The universe had a better plan than my ego did. My only job was to get quiet enough to hear it. This is the shift you are invited to make. It requires immense courage because it means letting go of the illusion of control. It means trusting the whisper over the shout. It means sometimes the most productive thing you can do is nothing at all. To rest, to play, to fill your own cup until the next inspired yes makes itself known. Here is a simple practice. Before you begin your work for the day or before making a big decision, place a hand on your heart and a hand on your stomach. Close your eyes and ask your body, does this action feel expansive or contractive? Don't think about the answer. Feel it. Your body knows the truth. An expansive feeling is a green light from your soul. A contractive, tight, sinking feeling is a red light. It's your body's way of saying, this is hustle, this is force, this is not the path of least resistance. Trust that signal above all else. Your journey to abundance is not a war to be won. It is a dance to be savored. Your only job is to listen to the music. Chapter 8. Conscious Stewardship. Becoming a conduit for abundance. We have now reframed how we earn money and how we work. The final piece of this alchemical puzzle is to transform our relationship with how we use money. Because if you earn money through sacred exchange, but then manage it from a place of fear and scarcity, you are creating an energetic short circuit. The flow stops. To create a truly abundant life, the consciousness of sacred exchange must permeate every financial activity, spending, saving, investing, and giving. This is the practice of conscious stewardship. You are not a consumer. You are not a spender. You are a steward, a caretaker of the energy that flows through your life. You are a conduit for the universal river of gratitude. Your job is to direct that flow with intention and integrity. Let's start with spending. Most people spend unconsciously, driven by impulse, fear, or the desire to numb an unpleasant feeling. A conscious steward sees every dollar spent as a vote. When you spend money, you are casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. You are transferring energy to a person, a company, a system. The question is, are they aligned with your values? Does the food you buy nourish your body and honor the earth? Does the company you buy from treat its employees with respect? Does your purchase support a local artist, a small business, a community, or does it feed a soulless machine? This is not about perfectionism or guilt. It is about awareness. It is about making small, aligned choices that over time sculpt your life and the world around you into a more beautiful form. A client of mine named David used to despise paying his bills. The electric bill, the rent, the insurance. Each one felt like a painful loss, a drain on his resources. He was operating from scarcity. I invited him to try an experiment. For 1 month, every time he paid a bill, he was to pause, hold the check or the screen in his hands, and say, "Thank you. Thank you, electric company, for the light that allows me to read at night and the power that warms my home. I bless this exchange. May this money support everyone who works there and their families." He did this for every single bill. It transformed a painful chore into a monthly gratitude ritual. He was no longer a victim of his expenses. He was a conscious participant in a complex web of energetic exchange. And by shifting his energy from resentment to gratitude, He opened the flow for more to come in. Next is saving and investing. In a scarcity mindset, saving is hoarding. It's driven by a fear of the future, a belief that there won't be enough later. In an abundance mindset, saving and investing is an act of faith. It is called planting seeds. You are taking some of the energy you have received, and you are lovingly setting it aside in fertile ground, trusting that it will grow and create even more abundance for the future. You are providing for your future self, not out of fear, but out of love and respect. It is an act of profound self-care. Finally, there is giving. This is what completes the sacred circuit of abundance. The universe abhors a vacuum, but it also abhors a stagnant pond. Energy is meant to flow through you, not just to you. Conscious giving, tithing, or donating is the act of acknowledging that you are a conduit, not a container. It is a declaration of trust to the universe, saying, "I have enough, and I trust that more is always on its way." They can afford to be generous. This act of release is incredibly magnetic. It signals to the universe that you are a reliable channel for abundance, and so the universe will send more through you. Find a cause, a person, a place that resonates with your heart, and give with joy, without any expectation of return. And watch how the universe returns it to you. Multiplied. This is a profound shift, moving from a passive consumer to a conscious steward of universal energy. It's a journey of 1,000 small aligned choices. And I'm curious, what is one small change you can make this week to be a more conscious steward of your financial energy? Let me know in the comments below. Your intention and your ideas will inspire others in this community. By bringing this level of mindfulness to how you use money, you complete the alchemical process. You are now earning, working, and living in a state of full alignment. Money is no longer a source of stress or a separate, profane part of your life. It has become what it was always meant to be, a tool for spiritual practice and a beautiful expression of the gratitude that flows through all of creation. Chapter 9. Embodying Sacred Prosperity. Your daily practice for a new reality. We have journeyed through theory, ritual, and profound reframes of consciousness. We have laid the foundation for a new reality. But a foundation is useless if we do not build a house upon it. This final law is about embodiment. It is about taking these 9 principles off the page and weaving them into the fabric of your daily life, until they are no longer things you do, but who you are. Lasting transformation is not the result of a single grand event. It is the cumulative effect of small, consistent daily practices. You are retraining your nervous system, your subconscious mind, and your energetic field to hold a new frequency, the frequency of sacred prosperity. And this requires gentle, persistent repetition. Let me tell you about Sarah, a fictionalized client whose story represents so many I have worked with. When she first came to me, she was a talented yoga teacher, but she was struggling desperately. She felt deep guilt about charging for what she called a spiritual gift. She held donation-based classes where she often received very little, and she was drowning in debt and resentment. We worked through these 9 laws. She did the forgiveness ledger, weeping as she released decades of self-abandonment. She practiced the mirror of worth, slowly befriending the calm, prosperous version of herself. She learned to listen for inspired action instead of hustling to find more students. And she began to implement a simple daily practice. Her practice had 3 parts. First, the morning alignment. Before looking at her phone or email, she would spend just 5 minutes in silence. She would ask, "What is my sacred intention for the energy that flows through me today?" She would set an intention not to make a certain amount of money, but to be a clear channel for value and to graciously receive all gratitude that returns to me. This simple act framed her entire day in the new consciousness. Second, the midday check-in. In the middle of her day, especially if she felt stress creeping in, she would pause. She would use the practice from Chapter 7, placing a hand on her heart and her stomach, and ask, "Am I operating from hustle or from inspiration? From fear or from trust?" This allowed her to continually course-correct, to release the tension, and to return to a state of flow. Third, the evening gratitude inventory. Before sleep, she would get out a journal and write down 3 things she was grateful for that day related to abundance. At first it was hard. She would write things like, "Grateful for the free coffee a friend bought me." But as she practiced, her perspective shifted. She started noticing abundance everywhere. Grateful for the one student who paid me joyfully. Soon it became grateful for the 5 new students who signed up for my series, and eventually, grateful for the overflowing abundance that allowed me to not only pay my bills with ease, but also to donate to the animal shelter. These were not complex rituals. They were small, consistent anchors that kept her tethered to her new reality. Over the course of a year, Sarah's life transformed. She established set prices for her classes and workshops, and she stated them with calm confidence. Her student base grew, filled with people who were happy to honor the exchange. She paid off her debt. Last I heard, she was leading her first international yoga retreat, funded entirely by the sacred profits of her business. She didn't become a different person. She became more fully the person she was always meant to be. This is the path of embodiment. It is for you now. I invite you to create your own simple daily practice. It might be a morning affirmation, a midday breath, an evening journal. The tools don't matter as much as the consistency. Here are a few affirmations you can use to support your practice. I am a gracious receiver of the universe's abundance. My income is a direct reflection of the immense value I provide. I'm a joyful steward of the financial energy that flows through me. It is safe for me to be both spiritually aligned and wildly prosperous. Choose one that resonates. Write it on a note and place it where you will see it. Let it become the new soundtrack playing in the back of your mind. And finally, be prepared. As you begin to change, you will become a mirror for the people around you. Your newfound peace and prosperity may trigger their own scarcity and lack. They may not understand. They may call you materialistic or say you've changed. This is the final test. Your work is not to convince them, but to hold steady in your own truth, to bless them on their path, and to continue walking yours with grace and integrity. You are a pioneer, mapping a new territory where spirit and wealth dance in harmony. Your embodiment is the greatest gift you can offer the world. Udro, your sacred contract with abundance. We have traveled far on this journey together. We have journeyed inward, into the shadowed corners of our consciousness where guilt and shame reside. And we have brought the light of a new understanding. The 9 alchemical laws are not merely concepts to be understood. They are principles to be lived. They form a new sacred contract between you and the energy of abundance. A contract built not on striving, but on worthiness. Not on taking, but on exchange. Not on guilt, but on gratitude. Remember the central truth. Abundance is not something you acquire. It is something you become. It is the natural state that emerges when you heal the rifts within your own heart, when you finally give yourself permission to receive the good that is your birthright. The universe is not withholding from you. It is, and always has been, waiting for you to open your hands and your heart to receive. Your work is sacred. Your contribution is valuable, and you deserve to be abundantly supported in the sharing of your gifts. Let this truth settle into your bones. Let it rewrite the old code. The journey of the alchemist is a lifelong spiral, ever deepening, ever expanding. Return to these principles whenever you feel the old patterns arise. Be gentle with yourself. This is the great work of a lifetime. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide on this part of your path. Your journey does not end here. To your left, you will find our playlist, The Foundations of Abundance, to continue building your new consciousness. And on the right, the universe has selected another guide specifically for your next step. Trust the wisdom of the algorithm and continue your transformation. This is Elias Vance reminding you, abundance is not an external goal. It is the internal realization of your own infinite worth.